Ancient DNA sequenced at Newgrange, evidence for god kings in prehistoric Ireland and the scientific response. 1. Background: the Newgrange Monument. Newgrange is a monumental Neolithic structure located in County Meath, Ireland, dating to around 3200–3100 BCE. This makes it over 5,000 years old, older than Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids. Originally classified as a passage tomb, Newgrange is now recognized as a site of major ritual, ceremonial, and astronomical significance, most famously aligned so that the winter solstice sunrise illuminates its inner chamber. It is the centerpiece of the Brú na Bóinne UNESCO World Heritage Site and is renowned for its sophisticated architecture, megalithic art, and enduring place in Irish mythology. 2. The ancient DNA breakthrough. The 2020 Nature Study. In June 2020, a landmark study published in the journal Nature reported the results of whole genome sequencing of human remains from Newgrange and other Irish passage tombs. The most extraordinary finding was that a male individual buried in the most prestigious chamber of Newgrange was the product of a first-degree incestuous union. His parents were either full siblings or a parent and child. This level of inbreeding is extremely rare in human societies, and where it does occur is typically associated with royal or god-king dynasties, such as those of ancient Egypt and the Inca, where incest was used to preserve a sacred bloodline. The individual's burial in the most prominent location within Newgrange further suggested elite status. Additional genetic findings: elite kinship networks. The study also found that individuals buried in passage tombs across Ireland were more closely related to each other than to the general Neolithic population, indicating the existence of a powerful, interrelated elite class that maintained its status over several centuries. Ancestry. The broader genetic context showed that Neolithic Irish populations were primarily descended from Anatolian farmers who migrated to Ireland via the Mediterranean and Atlantic coasts. 3. The God-King hypothesis and its implications. The discovery of first-degree incest in a prestigious Neolithic burial led researchers to propose that Newgrange and similar monuments were associated with a dynastic elite, possibly god-kings, who may have claimed divine status and legitimized their power through religious or supernatural means. This interpretation was bolstered by mythological parallels. Later Irish mythology tells of a builder king who restarts the solar cycle by sleeping with his sister, echoing both the DNA evidence and the solar alignment of Newgrange. Comparisons to ancient civilizations. The practice of royal incest is well documented in ancient Egypt and the Inca Empire, where it was used to maintain a divine bloodline. 4. Why scientists were stunned. A. Unexpected. Social complexity. The prevailing view before this discovery was that Neolithic Ireland was home to relatively egalitarian farming communities. The DNA evidence for royal incest and elite kinship networks suggested a level of social hierarchy and ritualized power that was not anticipated for this period or region. The finding of a probable first-degree incestuous union at Newgrange is absolutely extraordinary. It suggests a level of social complexity and hierarchy that we simply did not expect in Neolithic Ireland. Dr. Lara Cassidy, lead geneticist, paraphrased. B. Parallels with other ancient god-king societies. The direct comparison to the divine rulers of Egypt and the Inca was mind-blowing for many researchers, as it suggested that similar ideologies of divine kingship may have arisen independently in Neolithic Ireland. C. Implications for European prehistory. The findings forced a re-evaluation of the social and political structures of early European societies, showing that complex, hierarchical societies with divine rulers were not limited to the ancient Near East or the Mediterranean. D. Quality of DNA preservation. Researchers were also surprised by the quality of the ancient DNA, which enabled such detailed analysis after more than 5,000 years. 5. Scholarly debate and reassessment. Follow-up studies and critiques. While the initial findings were met with excitement, subsequent research has urged caution. 2025. Antiquity study, A critical reassessment argued that the evidence for a hereditary elite or god-king at Newgrange is weak. The burial context of the incest individual, NG10, was heavily disturbed, making it difficult to assert the original placement or significance. The study also noted that genetic clustering in passage tombs reflects distant, not close kinship, and that there is little archaeological evidence for social inequality or royal hierarchy in Neolithic Ireland. Egalitarian interpretations. Other researchers have emphasized that the society that built Newgrange was likely more egalitarian, with collective burial practices and little evidence for economic or social stratification. The single case of incestuous parentage is not sufficient to claim the existence of a ruling elite. Ongoing debate. The debate continues, with scholars recognizing the need to integrate genetic, archaeological, and anthropological data. There is a growing consensus that while the Newgrange DNA evidence is remarkable, it should not be overinterpreted as proof of a widespread god-king system in Neolithic Ireland. 6. Conclusion. The sequencing of ancient DNA at Newgrange revealed the presence of an individual born of first-degree incest, suggesting the existence of a powerful, possibly divinized elite in Neolithic Ireland. This finding stunned scientists because it challenged long-held assumptions about the egalitarian nature of prehistoric Irish society and drew unexpected parallels with the divine rulers of ancient Egypt and the Inca. However, subsequent research has urged caution, emphasizing the need for nuanced interpretation and warning against projecting later social categories onto prehistoric societies. The debate remains active, and Newgrange continues to be a focal point for research into the origins of social hierarchy, power, and ritual in ancient Europe. In summary, ancient DNA sequencing at Newgrange has provided unprecedented insight into the social structure of Neolithic Ireland, revealing evidence of elite lineages and practices reminiscent of god-kings. While the initial findings were truly stunning, the scientific community continues to debate their broader significance, ensuring that our understanding of prehistoric Ireland remains dynamic and evolving.